how to recession-proof your practice. So there's been a lot of talk about maybe a recession coming. Are we already in a recession? What is this looking like? I'm already seeing people talking about private pay clients dropping out of therapy or people getting less calls. Now that may be, having a lot to do with the summer, but in general, people are at least having these conversations and asking, where is our economic future going and where does that leave my private practice? So I was actually in preparations for this talk thinking back to the last recession in 2008. I had just graduated. I was 1 year into, my career, and I haven't had an agency job. So honestly, I didn't really feel it as much maybe as some other people did in private practice. I wasn't even thinking about private practice at that time. Luckily the agency that I worked with didn't let people go. There wasn't a funding cut. And so we all retained our jobs. And when I think back to that, I am kind of grateful. Now, this is not to advocate to stay at your agency job if you're not happy, but you have to look at how can your funding not get cut? Because that's what happened there. The funding wasn't cut. They kept everybody on, and we didn't feel it as much as other people. So a couple ways that you can do that is to really look at what you are most successful at doing. Who are your clients that you convert easily when you're on the phone? Who stay with you for an appropriate amount of time in treatment? Maybe they don't terminate, too soon or only come for one session. And who really inspires you as a therapist. Set some of your intention to find those clients and to work with those clients, because that's going to be the best use of your time in terms of marketing, in terms of sales, in terms of, landing those calls. I also want you to think about how to diversify your income streams. That can mean a lot of different things to a lot of people. Somebody that I really respect actually came out recently and said hey, we're going to start accepting insurance. I've never accepted insurance, but I'm going to start accepting insurance. I've actually heard this from a couple of people. Now, again, this is not a rant on you must accept insurance or a doomsday, but it is something for you to consider and to think about. If you've never accepted any insurance and your calls are down and you've been consistently down, you may want to think about adding just one insurance. Add the highest payer, the easiest to work with in your area, and call it a day. You can always use a company like Headway or Alma, which is really does the credentialing for you. You can do your billing through your electronic health record like TherapyNotes. It has gotten easier to bill insurance. Back in the day, it was a lot harder. There were paper claims. It was not easy to follow up. It wasn't all electronic. Now everything is electronic. My biller has a very easy time. I shouldn't say easy. Should probably not be happy that I use that word, but just an easier time really managing some of the billing because everything is electronic. She can pull EOB. She can really see what has been submitted. As opposed to sending paper claims, it goes into the abyss and you have no idea. So it's a lot easier to track things nowadays. So I think a lot of people have an old narrative about insurance, about how difficult it is to work with, and you get denied and you this, that, and the other, and it's so difficult. And it's not necessarily that way anymore. And it doesn't have to be that way. So one way you can diversify your services is to take insurance. You can offer other services, right? Instead of just doing individual therapy, maybe you do group counseling. Group counseling is great because not everybody wants to go to individual therapy every week or can even afford to go to individual therapy every week. So group counseling is a good way for them to get a service and maybe have a lower price point. But for you, it's actually might be a higher price point per hour because you have more people in that session. So diversifying your services in a way that is meaningful to you as a clinician. So if you love groups, why not do groups? That sounds amazing. If you don't like groups, don't do groups. Find something that really speaks to you. Then take a look at where you can save money. We always need to be reviewing our budgets, looking where we can save, looking where we can cut, seeing what is really going to make a difference to our bottom line. Are you using all of your subscriptions? Have you been paying for something that you're not using? Are you budgeting a lot of money for something maybe I'm trying to think of something like books for your private practice? Well, maybe you have enough books, right? I know there's never enough books, but maybe at this time you do have enough books. So I really want you just to take a look at your finances, review them, and see possibly where you can cut. I'm going to tell you the fourth thing for you to do, but first I want you to take a look at our sponsor, TherapyNotes. I want to thank them because they are so great at making my practice run smoothly. They help me with billing, reminders to clients so I don't have to remind people. All the paperwork is done there. There's a client portal, and they have a free telehealth option. So please be sure to check out TherapyNotes. So going back to what you can do in order to prepare is be prepared that you might need to shift. I think sometimes when we don't see things happening, it's more of a shock. If we could see something happening, like maybe your business model will look different. Maybe you'll have to go into a cheaper rent space. Maybe you'll have to hire clinicians. Maybe you'll have to change the percentage of your clinicians. Maybe you'll have to really advocate for raises from insurances. Know that you might have to shift your practice and be prepared for that. Remember, luck honors or, favors the prepared. I'm trying to think if I said it. Yeah. So that is the way to say it. And so if you're looking to really prepare yourself for this, then take a look at how you might need to shift your business and be open to that, knowing that you want to be really recession-proof in your practice. I'm here most days answering questions, everybody. I'll see you soon. Bye.